Hey, what's up? This your girl Imani Scott, and you are now tuned in to my mastering session with Hip Hop Weekly.
Perfect. Imani Scott, welcome. Thanks for coming in and talking with us. What is the vibe of the introduction? Tell me about when it dropped and what we can expect.
My debut project, The Introduction, released on October 3rd, 2017, produced by Heavy Hitter, Chill Vibes, and recorded at Y Rose Studios. This project is a lot of funk, a lot of fun, and a lot of happiness.
Definitely. I get that when I listen to it. So about mastering session, what we want to do is we want to give our audience a little insight as to when you actually was in the creative process on your album. So I'm going to tell you, say a couple different tracks, and I want you to tell me the vibe of it, a funny story, something maybe that you had to overcome while creating it, just some insight to your actual creative process. So let's start off with one of my favorite songs. It makes me feel good. Why Don't Ya?
Oh, Why Don't Ya? It's a feel-good song, but in reality, I was really in a space where it was kind of a gray area. And actually, that session, we ended early because, I wasn't really feeling it. But I wanted to give a piece of me. In that song, it states about being yourself and being acceptant to who you are, and knowing that no matter what people think about you, that why don't you just leave all your worries on the dance floor? Music is so powerful. So that day when I went to the studio, we ended that session early because I could not give that energy that was needed to portray in that song. But we got it done. Now, I can tell you about one song, Cut a Rug, which is the very first track on my project. That song was originally going to be called Soul Food. And when we was going through it, it's like a real funky country vibe. And my producer, Jill Vibes, we in the writing process, and he's like, that's soul food. I'm like, soul food? I kind of like that, And from there, my dad, who's my dadager, came in. He was like, I know y'all not singing no cornbread, talking about cornbread, because it was wild. Like, we was literally going through a list of, like, Southern soul food, and it was really dope. But for my dad to come in, and he was like, yeah, this is really trash. Nobody want to hear a menu. And he was like, how about, like, it got the funk. Like, let's cut something. I'm like, cut something? Who we going to be cutting? He was like, cut a rug or something. And then I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. So from that transition from a soul food menu to cut a rug, like get on the dance floor, is a huge transition. It was so hilarious. My dad was like literally like furious because we had a menu as a record. Like we was literally naming everything. It was catchy, but
yeah. So did your dad or do you normally have creatives collectively have input during your process, or is it just you and your producer?
For the most part, it's just me and Chill. But my dad, he comes in, although he has no idea about music besides listening and being a consumer. Now he get a little inch in it. He feel like he know everything about it. But yeah, other than that, it's just predominantly me and my producer. And if we add any musicians to bring the live instrumentation, we allow them to express themselves with their instruments as well.
Right. So I know he was probably looking for his splits after that session, huh?
Aww, go sit down.
Okay, so speaking of instrumentation, I do hear a lot of instruments in your whole album. Talk about Get Litty, your title single, your first single that came out, and that experience in creating that.
With Get Litty, my debut single off of The Introduction was really funky. Actually, with our writing process, we always have blue lights, blue hair, everything is blue. Candles, I love scents. Like I love calming scents, like rain or whatever. And when the song, I asked him, the Gap Band, early in the morning. Actually, all my songs are inspired from a 70s song. And if you listen to it, it has some type of sampling in it that's mixed down so much to the point that it's not even noticeable. But if you really know true music, then you'll be able to hear it. But Get Litty is actually from crap. Early in the morning, the Gap Band. So I asked him, he always asks me, hey, what kind of vibe you want? And I was like, I really want to do the Gap Band. And he was like, the Gap Band? Ain't that, like, how old are you? Like, what are you saying, the Gap Band? And so listening to it, mixed it, and we created it. And my dad, he left, came back, and when he heard it, he was like, oh, this is it. This is the one.
So we had the seal of approval.
Right.
All right. So you have another visual out. I think this is your third one. Is that Throwing Glitter? Okay, let's talk about Throwing Glitter.
So my third video and single, Throwing Glitter, is a fun song. Instead of, the classic phrase, throwing shade, it's more so throwing glitter because, once glitter is thrown on you, it tends to stick. It tends to gloss. And, it's another way of not being shady, but I'm just throwing a little spice in your life. Maybe you need a little sparkle. You're a little dim. But yeah, the song is fun. It's giving inspiration to, if you want to throw shade, do it in a polite way. And not only that, it introduced the visual actually introduced my other side of me, Jeroma, you would say, and that's more of my, outgoing, loud, outspoken countryside that I definitely feel that my fans, which I call diamonds because the diamonds are a girl's best friend, my diamonds definitely need to see who I truly am, and Jeroma gave me that opportunity, and Throwing Glitter was the platform to present her on.
Jeroma is hilarious. I seen Jeroma on your IG. You're like, I don't know what you were saying, but you were saying something fast. I was like, what is she saying? Where did this character come from?
Well, actually, Jeroma stemmed from basically my childhood. It's just how I was raised. I'm from Texas, raised in between Houston and Louisiana, and having that tradition from those two different types of backgrounds, you get Jeroma. Like, she talk fast. Sometimes you don't understand what she's saying because you're like, let me tell you. Matter of fact, I'll bring Jeroma out real quick. Let me tell you, because these are grown kids. I'm trying to tell you, they don't know how to act right now. I'm trying to tell you, Jeroma is here and live in the flesh. But nevertheless, Jeroma is just another person that's inside of me who is me. It's a part of me. I'm very loud, I'm very outspoken, but it's always good to show and be transparent with everybody if you want them to be transparent with your music. So yeah.
Correct. And speaking of another side of you, the album is really, cohesive. It's funky, but I did notice there was a couple tracks in there that were a little bit different, than your first single. I don't know if they're, B tracks or whatever, but there's one song on there, Don't Let Me Down.
Okay. So Don't Let Me Down. Actually, now it's one of my favorite tracks to perform now. My dad forced me. He said, you have too much upbeat songs. People want to actually hear you sing. They want to hear a ballad. They want to hear, love. And I was like, Dad, I haven't really just been in love like that. So my producer, Chill, was like, well, how about we give a perspective of what you will want with somebody, like, I may not have been in love, but I'm giving you the opportunity to give me a chance to open up to love you, but don't let me down in the process. So it was a great foundation for us to be able to compromise and give a love ballad, but also give as much as I can. And in due time, hopefully I can give y'all some real love songs. But until then, Don't Let Me Down is still by far one of my favorite songs to perform.
Absolutely. And I think I have two more. I have also Fight for Your Love.
Okay.
And I also wanted you to talk about Lost Your Mind.
Oh, God. So Fight for Your Love was actually the first song that I cut off of my project. That process was really kind of weird for me, simply because that was the first time I was in that studio. I'm coming in with a multi-platinum producer. I'm nervous as hell. I don't know if he's going to be like, look, girl, let's try. Maybe we'll try this next year. But he walked me through it. My sister even came. I was so nervous. I'm telling you, I was nervous. And then you in this multi-million-dollar studio, you coming from, in the closet. And then you go
humble beginnings.
Yeah, very humble beginnings. Nevertheless, coming into that, it was very intimidating. But he definitely allowed me to be transparent as an artist, and I also allowed him to be a producer and guide me because, you know, he has the plaques. So I definitely took insight of everything that he said, and we came out with Fight for Your Love and kept rocking since. Now
I love that song. I really do love that song. Some of the lyrics in there strike me before you go. It's like you said you cheated on him. Is that a true story?
In a sense. So, you know, that's that's the problem with this generation, the situationships. Like, people tend to, you're not really in the relationship, but if you do something out of line, it's like he mad, or even vice versa, we mad. It just brings a lot of confusion, but I did not cheat because I was not in a committed relationship, but I cheated him because I did not allow him the opportunity to give him a chance to choose whether or not he would be okay with me conversing with someone else. But I didn't really cheat.
Okay.
Clear that up.
Okay.
But he said I cheated. And it fit.
Okay.
And lost your mind. Let me tell y'all. My daddy was furious. Lost Your Mind is the only explicit song on there, and he was by far walked in. He came late. I told him I already knew what time it was. I was like, don't even come. You don't have to worry about it. I'll just let you listen to it once we cut it. And he was like, all right. And then all of a sudden I get a text, tell Chill to unlock the gate. I'm like, oh, shit. He here. In the middle of it, and this is the chorus. And, you know, it's the favorite part of... Nigga, you done lost your mind. And he was like, nigga. He stopped the whole thing. He was like, chill. Oh, no. I don't know what y'all done did. I only been gone for 2 days and y'all done come with this kind of music. He was ready to shut down the whole process off of just the nigga. But, you know, coming from a older perspective.
Oh, did you come from a gospel background?
Yeah. I'm Catholic.
Okay.
So, being Catholic, and then my parents are older, and then with the traditional Louisiana roots, they're really strict. So it was no such thing as really profanity anyway, and then let alone nigga. And, you know, it was a lot, but I told him that this is art. This reaches a different demographic. This reaches a different audience, and everybody expresses themselves differently. You may not say nigga, but I guarantee you one of your sisters, my aunts, uncles, they do. And it's, why would you sell yourself short on reaching somebody else and being able to have a connection with them artistically? Because that artistic value and connection can bring somebody out of anything. So I wanted to be able to give myself in various ways. Although I am doing funk, I want to provide some R&B love. I want to provide some urban R&B, and I want to get in some traditional pop music because I want to get to everybody. But yeah, Lost Your Mind was definitely a groundbreaker for my career, and being my dad is a part of it. It was a groundbreaker for him because he had to take off his dad hat and put on his manager hat and know that this is for the best of the art.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, working with your dad as being he's your manager, what struggle have you faced and how did you overcome that? Just speaking to someone who might be in the same position as you, with family members helping them, because a lot of times with independent artists, that's your immediate support system. That's your immediate team at first. So what advice would you give to help someone?
Be patient and understanding, because at the end of the day, they have the best interest of you for you. But also know that this is your life. This is your livelihood. This is your craft. And nobody can do your craft the way that you want your craft to be done. It's your craft. But just know how to bend a little. It's a little bending here and there will make a great product. And nevertheless, you don't want to hinder it just because, you know, oh, this is my cousin or this is my aunt or my dad or mom. They gonna say what they want to say. I'm gonna do what I want to do regardless. And although they may do what they want to do and may not be to your liking, but in the long run, it possibly could be better for you. But you have to know when you take a stance of like, no, this is not gonna work. But also keep in mind that if they may not know because they don't have the insight and they're getting into it because that you're doing it, then have patience with them because they're learning as you learn. And it's a whole different bracket. Now, if they come in the industry and then they're taking you under their wings, then it's another battle because they already been there, done that. So it's like different variations. It's just a matter of being patient at the end of the day for all barriers. So yeah, patience.
Cool. Thank you so much, Imani. Let everyone know where they can find you, get all your music, and keep up with the latest happenings.
So you can follow me on all social medias at Imani Scott, IMANISCOTT_, as well as Imani Scott Music. And tune in for any and everything. Snapchat, please follow me on Snapchat. You'll get a lot of Jeroma there. Imani Scott. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you so much, and much blessings. Wishing you the best and seeing you go all the way to success.
Thank you, Hip Hop Weekly.